So in the world of earbuds, active noise cancellation has kind of become a bit of a buzzword, and a lot of companies use this to say these are good earbuds and they demand a higher price. But that's not always the case. ANC varies a lot. Different pairs of earbuds have totally different qualities when it comes to active noise cancellation. And so if you really want good ANC, these are going to be the earbuds that you want to consider buying. So in this video, I have my top 5 picks for the best ANC earbuds. And I don't want this to be subjective. There's no brand affiliation here. I want to list these out and actually test them, the microphone quality, the audio quality, the ANC quality, and the ANC power. And I just really want to compare these head to head to help you decide which is actually the best pair for you to buy. So with that being said, guys, let's jump into this video. I want to start off by talking about the 5 contestants I have in this video. Of course, in no particular order here. The first pair is the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. This is the newest pair from Samsung, and actually the newest pair out of its entire batch. These were just released in early 2021, and the Galaxy Buds have long been a favorite pair of earbuds by a lot of people. And now finally having a good quality ANC on board, the Galaxy Buds Pro are a really strong contender here, selling for as low as $180, but typically around $200. They're the cheapest in this bunch as well. Next up, we have the extremely famous Apple AirPods Pro. You've definitely seen these everywhere. There's no real need for me to give them an introduction. Next up, we have the Jabra Elite 85Ts. These are selling for about $230, so a little bit more expensive than last year's iconic 75Ts, but again, a sequel to a very successful pair of earbuds, and definitely a worthy contestant in this video. Next up, we have the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. Honestly, a personal favorite of mine for a while for their amazing sound quality. And then lastly, we have the Bose QuietComfort earbuds. Bose was kind of quiet in the industry for a little while, and then they came out with the QuietComfort earbuds, and these are the most expensive in the batch and also the largest here, selling for $280, but they promise incredible ANC and incredible audio quality. Okay, so those are the 5 different earbuds, and I want to actually rank those and test them in several different categories, including the physical and comfort aspects of them, the controls, the microphone, and I'm actually going to do a full indoor and outdoor microphone test for you, the audio quality, the active noise cancellation, and of course the features, battery life, and price, kind of bundled into that last one. But with that being said, starting off on the first category of physical aspects, this one admittedly is probably the most subjective out of all of these. It's hard to give a specific number to this, but ranking these in order, my favorite physical design with these is actually the Galaxy Buds Pro. Among the smallest out of all of these, I really like the design for several reasons. One of them is that they're IPX7 water resistant, so you shouldn't have to worry about these getting any kind of water damage. They have wireless charging on the bottom, USB Type-C charging on the back, a really nice clamshell design that sits open on a desk, and so the case, I really like the case. The earbuds themselves I'm also a big fan of. They're a really compact design. When you put them in your ear, they're pretty flush, pretty subtle, and there are 3 different colors to choose from. They have touchpads on the outside, and although these don't have a little rubber wingtip like we saw on the old Galaxy Buds, I find that they still are very secure in my ears because they kind of have the geometry of it works as a wingtip. So if you put it in your ear, the little plastic nub on the top kind of grabs the inside of your ear, and I find that it's very secure for pretty much all of my workouts. So for those reasons and a couple others, the Galaxy Buds Pro came in number 1, in my opinion, for the best physical design. And then coming in second place are the Apple AirPods Pro. So again, a really small compact case, really high quality hinge here, very sturdy, and you have that really satisfying click when you close them. They have wireless charging on the back, an LED indicator on the front, and the earbuds themselves have that kind of, I want to say, iconic stem. I'm not a huge fan of the stem. I don't think the aesthetic of these is my favorite, but I know a lot of people really go out of their way because they really want that little stem that, says I'm wearing AirPods. Then in third place, we have the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. Although the case is a little bit larger and they don't have wireless charging, they still have IPX4 water resistance. I really like the aesthetic of the case. You have 2 different colors. This is like a dark gray kind of fabric on the outside. There's also a white one. And then the earbuds themselves are really comfortable, actually. Again, they don't have wingtips, and these are definitely not designed for working out, but I find that they're definitely really secure. I could go for a run with these, and they're probably not going to fall out. But comfort all day, I think that these do a really good job. Fourth place then, again, really not far behind, is actually the Jabra Elite 85Ts. If you saw any of my previous videos, you probably know that the 75Ts were typically number 1 for design. These kind of slid down the rankings a little bit for the comfort reasons, but the physical case on the outside is still among my favorite. This has wireless charging, really nice compact case. You can open it on the top. It has a really satisfying click, and it sits open on your desk. So kind of the best of both worlds with the Galaxy Buds and the AirPods. The case design, Jabra has really been killing it for a while. Now, the earbuds themselves, I really like how they have a little physical button on the outside, but other than that, I think that the 75s last year were a little bit better than these 85s because I find that it's kind of an oval shape on the ear tip, and when you put it in, they tend to slide out of my ears a little bit. They're a little bit less comfortable, and if I'm doing a workout, I have trouble keeping these in my ear. So comfort, at least for my ears, obviously everybody's different, but for my ears, I found that the Jabra 85Ts are not quite the best, but they definitely get the job done. And like I said, the physical design of them, besides the comfort, is really fantastic. Again, IPX4 water resistance rating on those. And then in last place, I think it's kind of obvious why this is in last place, the Bose QuietComfort earbuds. The case is massive, and the earbuds are also really large. The good thing is that the case sits open like this. I really am not a huge fan of the physical button in the front. I wish it was just a magnet. But, you know, they have wireless charging, which is convenient, IPX4 water resistance rating, 2 different colors, and, I mean, the earbuds, as far as comfort goes, they're not bad, but they're also not great. Mostly not great because they're huge, and the aesthetic of them, again, because they're huge, I think that they're not really up to date with 2021 standards. Okay, so those are my rankings for the design and comfort of the earbuds, but now getting into the controls of these, they're all really different. And we actually have a tie in first place, although I lean a little bit more towards favoring the Jabra Elite 85Ts, mainly because they have physical buttons. So for one, they're very customizable. You can go in the app, change anything you want about them, but two, the physical buttons I think are great in a lot of situations where you might be wearing gloves, or your hands might be too cold, or they might be wet. Whatever the situation is, if touchpads don't normally work, the physical buttons definitely will. But tied in first place, barring those strange conditions when your hands are cold or wet or wearing gloves, like most situations when you're inside, the touch controls work really well. And the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s are tied in first place because just like the Jabras, the touch controls are also very customizable. Now, moving down to second place, the Galaxy Buds Pro, again, are relatively customizable. They have very responsive touchpads. And then in third place, we actually have the Apple AirPods Pro. I find that the little pinch control works well, but if I'm running and doing something more dynamic, I find it's a little bit annoying to have to find that and pinch that. Not my favorite way to control earbuds, but definitely very reliable, and they do exactly what you want them to. And then in last place are actually the Bose QuietComforts. They have a really large space for a touchpad, and so it's not always the easiest to get the touchpad exactly where you want it. All right, so with that being said, let's get into the next category, which is going to be a test of the microphones on these different earbuds. So if you're in a call, you're in a Zoom meeting, or you're just recording a video, whatever you might be doing, the microphone quality is obviously going to be very important. So right here, we have the first pair, the Jabra Elite 85Ts. And again, I'm doing this in no particular order because I want you guys to vote in the comments and let me know which one you think sounds the best. Now, the next pair, these are the Galaxy Buds Pro. And again, we're doing this in a studio environment indoors. I'm gonna go outside in a second to see what it's like in a louder environment, but let me know if these sound good to you. And now these are the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s, again, indoor environment. Let me know how this sounds to you. Another thing to note is that all of these earbuds actually only have 2 microphones on board, except for the Galaxy Buds Pro, which have 3 microphones. So next up, we have the Bose QuietComfort earbuds. And as I mentioned before, all of these have 2 microphones on board, except for the Galaxy Buds, but the number of microphones doesn't necessarily correlate to the quality of the audio. And then lastly, we have the AirPods Pros. Of course, I'm not doing this in any particular order, so you guys can leave a comment and let me know which ones you think are the best in order. All right, so first up, these are the Jabra 85Ts outside. It's a little bit breezy out here. Obviously, there's some traffic behind me, so leave a comment and let me know if you can hear what I'm saying and how clear that is. All right, now these are the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. A little bit more traffic than there was before. But again, you guys can get a general idea for what it's going to sound like if you're outside, it's breezy, there's traffic, and you're trying to talk on a phone call. All right, now these are the Bose QuietComfort earbuds. Again, we're outside. I think the wind died down a little bit since we started, but you guys can leave a comment. Let me know how this sounds to you, being that there's a little bit more ambient noise here. All right, now these are the Apple AirPods Pro. One thing I especially like about these when on a phone call is that the transparency mode honestly sounds really good. So I can hear my voice and it sounds as if I wasn't wearing anything in my ears at all. All right, now lastly, these are the Galaxy Buds Pro. Again, this is not in any particular order, but you guys can leave a comment and let me know how all of these sound both indoors and outdoors. But that concludes the microphone test. These are the Galaxy Buds Pro, testing in a louder environment. Okay, so hopefully you guys left a comment and voted which earbuds you liked the best, but I'll give you my ratings right now. I would say number 1 is definitely the Galaxy Buds Pro. I thought by far they sounded the best indoors and outdoors. Number 2 is the AirPods Pro. Number 3, we have the Jabra 85Ts. Then I would say the Bose were number 4, and then number 5, unfortunately, was the Sennheiser Momentums. Now, moving on to the next category of audio quality, first of all, these are all premium pairs of earbuds, so they're all going to have pretty good audio quality, but there are definitely some differences here. And if you're somebody looking for the best audio quality possible, then the obvious pick here is going to be the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. These have long been my favorite audio quality in a pair of earbuds, and I mean, they've been ranking number 1 for a while in a lot of my comparison videos when it comes to audio quality. So overall, these just have a really nice, rich, true bass, very accurate, very clean, great detail and separation in the instruments, and just all around a really nice sound signature. There's an EQ in the app. The EQ kind of changed since they first released it, so it's a little bit easier to use now. And I find that I really don't even need the EQ. They just sound really good right out of the box. On top of that, they actually also are using aptX as their codec, unlike the other 4 on this list. So aptX gives you a little bit more detail, a little bit more resolution in your music. And so I found that that's something that I really appreciate with these earbuds. But moving on, I want to give number 2 kind of a shout out that's not listed in these top 5. And these are actually the Sony 1000 XM3s. Now, I know a lot of people might be wondering why the Sony 1000 XM3s weren't in this video. Honestly, I had to draw the line somewhere. I wanted to only include 5. If I included 6, they would definitely be involved in this video, but they definitely deserve a shout out in the audio quality because they also have LDAC, which is Sony's really high-res audio quality or audio codec, and they have overall a really good audio quality. I really like the Sony earbuds, and I think they definitely deserve a number 2 on this list here. But moving on to number 2 out of the earbuds that I actually have here, I'll just say my second favorite is actually the Galaxy Buds Pro. Definitely not the cleanest overall, they're not gonna sound nearly as good as the Sennheiser earbuds if you're really listening to details. But for anybody listening to Spotify or Apple Music or any kind of music that's not already hi-fi, it's not already lossless, then these are going to sound great. They use SBC or AAC codecs. They're really powerful. There's a little bit of a bass-heavy movement to them, but not too bass-heavy, so it really makes your music fun and lively. And overall, I find that they're pretty accurate and relatively detailed. So overall, the sound quality on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro I think is a pretty clear number 2 here. Number 3 then is the Apple AirPods Pro. I've talked about these so many times on my channel already, but these again have SBC or AAC, really good clarity. They kind of have an emphasis somewhere around 1000 hertz or maybe a little bit higher, and so that gives you more perceived clarity. They generally are a little bit weaker on the bass end, which is why I didn't make them number 2, but for most music, especially acoustic music, these are definitely going to sound really, really good. Moving on to number 4, these are actually the Bose QuietComfort earbuds. These are slightly tunneled, like emphasis on slightly there. They sound really, really, really slightly tunnely. So for the most part, they sound great, but I think it's kind of a de-emphasis in the mids. So if you can go into an EQ and kind of emphasize that a little more, you end up with a pretty decent sound signature on them. Overall, great audio quality. Bose is known for great audio quality, so it's definitely no surprise. And then last place is actually the Jabra 85Ts. Again, by no means bad audio quality here. I find that these are a little bit heavier on bass. They're definitely powerful and fun. Now, the only reason I didn't rank them higher is because they tend to lack a little bit of detail and clarity in like cymbals, and some noisier parts of a song tend to get a little bit too busy and confusing, like not a lot of separation there. But again, all of these have really good audio quality. Okay, so next up we have the active noise cancellation. I'm gonna be honest, guys, this was a really difficult category because I wanna give you guys a really nice objective metric here, but the truth is they're all just so different in different ways. So depending on where you're looking to use these, different pairs might be better. So I wanna start off with the first testing I did, which was on the frequencies. So I ran a full frequency spectrum on each different pair of earbuds while I was wearing them to see what bands of frequencies were really audible. And so they all do a great job blocking everything below like 60, 75 hertz. And once you get up to like male voices, again, they block a lot of male voices, but female voices, obviously being a slightly higher frequency, are not as well blocked out on these 3, whereas the Bose QuietComforts and the Apple AirPods definitely do a superior job in blocking out female voices. So that's one subtle difference there when you're talking about like in public, if you hear a lot of people talking, the AirPods and the Bose are going to do a better job of blocking out all sexes. Now, when you talk about maybe higher frequencies, the Jabras do an interesting job of blocking out a specific band between 300 and 500 hertz. Maybe this is related to the passive noise blocking, maybe it's in the software on board, but this might be especially useful if you have something outside that is, say, like 400 hertz, and you just really want to block that. Okay, so assuming you don't know exactly what frequencies you want to block out, I have two more tests. The first one is just the relative magnitude of it in a crowded environment, so people talking, and the other one is from white noise like a jet, for example. So starting off with a crowd, say you're in like a busy airport or a mall or somewhere that there's a lot of sound and you want to block out a whole crowd, the testing I did was just relative volumes here using a speaker playing that sound and seeing what was actually blocked out. And actually in first place here was the Jabra 85Ts, blocking out up to volume 19, and then going down to volume 17, so really subtle difference here. The AirPods and the Bose earbuds both did a fantastic job. Volume 16 was the Sennheisers, and then volume 15 was the Galaxy Buds. So the Galaxy Buds so far haven't been the most powerful or impressive active noise cancellation, whereas the Bose, the Jabras, and the AirPods all did a much better job. Now, switching over to the sounds of a jet, so some white noise, again, some similar results here. The most powerful ones going up to volume 21 was actually the Bose and the AirPods. Again, very, very powerful earbuds. I know that Jabras are extremely powerful in certain situations, but at this particular frequency of the jet that I was listening to, it actually only went up to volume 18. So not quite as high as the other two, but definitely a solid second, or kind of, if those are tied in first, this would be like a second place at volume 17, or was actually the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. And then in last place again, the Galaxy Buds Plus, or the Galaxy Buds Pros here, actually only went up to volume 15 here, so not quite as powerful, but you guys can see that relatively speaking, they were all pretty close in magnitude of power. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, so just to give you the ranking overall of the active noise cancellation, considering where I think most people will be using these and what they're most interested in blocking out, I would say that the Bose QuietComfort's ranked number 1, number 2 are the AirPods, then we have the Jabras, the Sennheisers, and then in last place, actually by a relatively substantial margin, is the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. They definitely are kind of an outlier here, a little bit less powerful, but they definitely all get the job done. And that brings us into the final category of the features, the battery life, and the price, kind of bundling all of those other features together. Again, we're seeing a big spectrum here in a lot of things, but in first place here is actually the Galaxy Buds Pro, which is no surprise. Samsung has always been one to add a lot of features to their earbuds and their watches, and these are definitely no exception. So you're in the Galaxy ecosystem, but of course, they're gonna work with any Android device out there. They also work with iPhones, but you won't actually have all of the features available. They don't have the app plugin, at least not right now. So I think that's kind of a strange thing. Maybe it'll come soon. Maybe it already did when you're watching this video. But the features that are on here, they have really low latency mode. They have a voice detect, so if you were to start talking, it'll pause your music. You'll be able to talk and hear your own voice. They also find my buds, so if your earbuds fall out and they roll under a seat, because honestly they're kind of spherical, it's nice that you can just have a little chirping sound and find your earbuds. And then of course last, you do have the touch block, so if you're somewhere that you feel like they're gonna be touched a lot, you're wearing a hat or something like that, then you can turn on touch block so the touch controls are disabled. Now, selling at just $200, these also have a battery life of 8 hours with the earbuds, 28 including the case, if you don't have ANC on. But if you turn it on, you're getting 5 hours and 18 hours respectively. And so honestly, a pretty solid package there. Great features, great battery life, and definitely a great price. Like I said, as low as $170 or $180, and I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can check that out and see the latest price. One thing with Samsung is that they're definitely known to go on sales all the time. But going into number 2 for the best features, battery life, and price are actually the Apple AirPods Pro. Being slightly older now, these are selling for a little bit cheaper. You can find them around $220, which is honestly a really good deal. And of course, they really have some excellent integration in the Apple ecosystem. Again, these work better with Apple, but you can definitely pair them with a Windows laptop or desktop or an Android phone for that matter, and you just won't have quite as many features or controls in there. But they do have that H1 chip on there, so you have Siri, you have a lot of functionality in with a fit test in the app, and of course you have that simple switch between anything in the Apple ecosystem. In third place, the Jabra Elite 85Ts, selling for about $230, have a fantastic battery life of up to 31 hours with the case, but if you're using ANC, it's only 25 hours. still a lot of battery life there. And they have some really great things in the app. The good thing is that they're brand agnostic, so they obviously don't make a phone, which means they're gonna play nicely with Android or with Apple, and they have some great things. They have multi-pairing, which means you can connect to multiple devices and it'll just switch seamlessly between them. You can also have some My Sound like tailoring. When you open the app, it'll kind of estimate and help you decide what the best EQ is for your preference and your hearing abilities. You will find My Jabra, which works a little differently, kind of with GPS with where they were last connected to your phone. They also have My Moments, which means you can switch from like commuter mode to desk mode, and it changes a whole bunch of settings in EQ and ANC, and there's really a lot of great stuff in the app. So honestly, the Jabras have a lot of great features. I considered ranking them higher, but I mean, third place I feel like is pretty fair for these earbuds. In fourth place are the Sennheiser earbuds. The app is not quite as fleshed out. There's really not a lot of features there, but they do have 7 hours of battery, or 28 when you include the case, and they're selling for about $250. And then in last place, because, I mean, they are the most expensive and they really don't have a lot of features or a great battery life, the Bose QuietComfort earbuds, 6 hours of battery life, 18 with the case, and they're $280. Okay, so that was a lot of information and a lot of rankings, but boiling it down, if you add the scores up, the first place overall is actually the Galaxy Buds Pro, which is not surprising. Although they don't have the most powerful active noise cancellation, they overall have pretty good audio quality, pretty good design, pretty good water resistance rating, pretty good features, and I think the most people would be the most happy buying this. So if you're somebody that doesn't know exactly what you're looking for, like you're not looking for audio quality in specific, then I think the safest bet for you would be getting the Galaxy Buds Pro. Now, of course, that's going to be more of a recommendation for Android users. iPhone users will still enjoy them, but you definitely lose the benefit of getting those features that you see in the app. Without the app plugin for iPhones, the obvious one is to ship down to number 2, which number 2 here is actually the Apple AirPods Pro, which if you have an iPhone, this would be the number 1 option for you. These are just really compatible, really seamless switching, and they do a great job of just the software behind the scenes, typical Apple right here, just making a smooth, seamless experience. Again, great ANC, great audio quality, and a really solid number 2 here. Number 3 then is actually my personal preference. I would be using these as my number 1 because I prefer audio quality. These are the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s. Again, great audio quality. I really like the aesthetic of these, or at least the case on the outside. And although they don't have the most powerful ANC, in many situations, it is very powerful, and I found that I have no issue with them blocking sound out, so very comfortable, number 3 here. Number 4 then is actually the Jabra 85Ts. Really the thing that held them back from being higher on this list was the sound quality, which is good, but it's definitely not the best in this group, and the overall comfort and the fit. But other than that, great design on these, great active noise cancellation, and definitely a sleeper pick that I think out of all of these, the fewest people might know about the Jabras. And of course, in last place, unfortunately, because of the high price, the short battery life, and the massive design, the Bose QuietComfort earbuds, even though they have great ANC and pretty good audio quality, I just can't make them the number 1 recommendation in 2021 when they are that big. So those are my 5 overall, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely leave a comment below and let me know what your ranking is for 1 through 5 of these earbuds. Which ones do you like the best and why? And if you enjoyed this video, as always, consider liking and subscribing. My name's Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.